Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It seems that when I do book videos, I have a hat on. And yes, this is a book video, and I have a hat on. Welcome back, and let's get into my TBR for the 4th week of October. Technically, I suppose it's already started because today is the 15th. But this weekend was the Shadow Lounge Readathon for October. So I generally start counting my week at the end of that kind of a readathon because I try and finish as many books as I can during the readathon weekend. And I didn't actually finish any new books, but I did make progress in a couple. Yay. So I've picked out what I'm going to start with for this week. I'm still doing readathon style reading relays because the Dewey's readathon starts at 8 a.m. Eastern Time on the 21st, which is this coming Saturday. And I'm one of the admins for that, so I will definitely be participating. Probably trying to do all 24 hours. I may actually do more than one video in the same day on the 21st. Just fair warning. Yeah. I haven't had a vlog or a booktube before during a Dewey's readathon, so I'm gonna try not to abuse it, but I might occasionally post on it. I'm going to try and finish as many books as I can during this week. We have a pre-readathon challenge going on right now with a long lap, which is like a reading sprint, but it lasts a week instead of half an hour or an hour. And there's also going to be a lot of reading sprints going on this week. I will be popping into our various social media sites and leading readathon sprints probably just about every day for the rest of the week. So I should be able to finish some books. Hopefully that kind of environment will be conducive to finishing some books. I have a lot that I started. I am actually including some books this week just to, spice things up a little bit that I haven't started already. So here is my beginning stack for this week. And it looks like a lot of books to just call it the beginning stack. Hey Jamie, why don't you just admit it? That's all you're going to even get to this week. Well, half of these books I've already started. So even though it's a nice tall stack of books, half of them I only need to finish the last 50% of the book or the last third of the book. So I'm really hoping to finish a lot of what I've already started before the readathon so I can kind of have a fresh slate. Doesn't usually work, actually, but I always try. So the first book on my stack is Thunder on the Right by Mary Stewart. A lot of fantasy readers who started reading fantasy as middle schoolers might have read some of Mary Stewart's books like The Crystal Cave and some I'm forgetting the names of some of the others. She wrote a series of Arthurian kind of time travel fantasy books that I actually loved them in middle school. And when I grew up, I found out actually very, very recently that, Mary Stewart didn't just write those Arthurian fantasy books. She also wrote murder mysteries. Like, oh, cool. And actually my friend, from whom I borrowed a lot of Mary Stewart murder mysteries, doesn't like the fantasy books. Horror of horrors. How could she possibly not like those? But, she doesn't really read fantasy, so that's okay. So I've been working my way through the Mary Stewart books. I think I have like 3 or 4 more left to read. So I'll be finishing this one hopefully this week and moving on to another Mary Stewart book, which will probably be on my TBR for the actual Dewey's Readathon. Another sort of series that I'll be focusing on this week is the Conan series. Conan the Adventurer is what I'm on at the moment. So I will hopefully finish this one and maybe a couple other Conan books this week. I would love to finish the whole series, but I don't think I own the whole series. I'm probably missing about 2. So I'll get close. And I'll have to decide whether I skip the ones I'm missing or wait until I get the ones I'm missing in ebook or something. We'll see if that actually is an issue this week. It depends on if I get that far. I'm also working on The Wisdom of Crowds still, which the bookmark has moved. Not a lot, but it has moved a whole chapter. So now we're looking at experts and whether experts or just reasonably intelligent people make better decisions. And it's in particular contexts, with particular kinds of problems. But it's interesting how ineffective experts are in some of these things. I wonder why. With things like this, it's sociology. It's not looking at specifically one dude and whether he's right or not. It's statistically, are experts more reliable than non-experts? And the answer is usually no, actually. Except that it's still context dependent and sometimes they are. So right now it's still one of those messy answers. It's definitely not yes or no, exactly. Interesting book, definitely worth reading. If you like definite answers, though, you might get frustrated by this one. But it is part of a sort of cluster of nonfiction about human behavior and group behavior and psychology. That there have been a few really good books in that area that came out in the last 10 years. I highly recommend them if you are not someone who gets frustrated by the whole idea. The next book is poetry. I grumbled about poetry already in my monthly TBR videos, but I am making myself read it. It has a bookmark, and the bookmark is not exactly at the beginning. I've actually finished, not even almost. I've finished 46 pages of poetry, and I have read them all, and I've read half of them out loud. I'm trying. I don't like them, but there are some nice turns of phrases. Just, I'm not getting the symbolism. My brain doesn't like symbolism that much. It just doesn't click. So, I will finish poetry. Oh, man. Not really ever likely to collect poetry. I'll put it that way. I'm also reading Isaac Asimov science fiction, and I'm actually going to try and finish several of these. Even though they are magazines and not everyone counts them as books, they are on Goodreads as things that you could, check off as, currently reading and read. And this one is 192 pages. So as far as length, if you're reading the whole thing, it's a book, in my opinion. And in the opinion of my siblings. So since we started out kind of competing with each other about how much we read, if it counts for them, it counts for me. So far, I've gotten through most of the first story, which is a long one, The Last Winnebago by Connie Willis, which is a classic. I've already read it, but it's pretty good. It's not really what I'd call sci-fi. It's more just future. A journalist is sent out to do a photojournalism thing on The Last Winnebago, that's the title, and encounters a roadkill jackal that's just been run over. And it's illegal to kill wildlife. There's so few left. And there's no dogs, or at least, I guess I don't know if there are some dogs that got vaccinated and survived, but they had something called new parvo that killed all the dogs. And so if there's, dog-like things left, they are precious, and you could go to jail for killing one. And so whoever hit this jackal is in huge trouble, and he's afraid that the people that have the Winnebago might have been the ones that hit it. So it's not really science fiction, but it is set in the future. And yeah, if you don't really like science fiction, Connie Willis is actually someone you might still enjoy, because it's about the people usually, not the technology. It's not a space opera. So then the next book that I'm still working on is Pleasure by Gabrielle D'Annunzio. The bookmark has moved a little bit. The main character dude has had a duel in which he kind of sort of won, but still got run through near the end of it. So, I don't know. Every time I read a book with a duel, I'm like, how could people be this stupid? One of Nabokov's books has a duel in it that I remember grumbling at how stupid they were being. And maybe Henry James. I don't remember who the other one was where it really stuck out. But there's this small group of books that at some point feature one of these, young men that go dueling against each other for honor or something along those lines. I'm not sure even what the issue was in this case. They just, they have a duel. I think over a girl. And then The Buddha of Suburbia. This is one of the ones I added this week. I went through my stacks and found not all but most of my unread books by authors from what's commonly called the Middle East, or set in the Middle East. So Hanif Qureshi is actually an author that I could have sworn I've maybe read something by, but I don't remember offhand what it would have been. Still, I got it for $25 at a book shed, and it looked interesting. So I don't know anything more about it. I don't like to know too much before I start, so I will find out when I read it. And then the other book that I've got on my stack is a hardback. This is a category that is going to be hardbacks, so when I finish this one, it will be replaced by a hardback. This is so far a tedious book. I'm hoping it picks up soon, but I'm not sympathetic with the character yet. The character is Purity, the name of the book, and she's frustrating so far. I'm definitely I might be too old to sympathize with Purity that well. I think I'm sympathizing more with her mother, which I suppose I'm about the right age for. So I don't know if I'll enjoy this one or not. I got this one at the dollar store, back when the dollar store stuff was still $1. Because Jonathan Franzen's somebody that has books on the 1001 list. And I did kind of like the two that I read so far from that list. It does write well, so hopefully it's good. Anyway, that's what I'm going to be starting with for this week. I will definitely do more videos this week, building up towards Dewey's Readathon. Dewey's Readathon used to be this huge thing. I remember when I first started participating, it was one of the big readathons. And it was established initially by someone with the name Dewey, thus the name of the readathon. She died, and the other people involved kept it going and named it after her. And it's been going on since 2007, so it's been going on a long time. I started adminning for it relatively recently, a couple years ago. I started out doing Facebook and Goodreads, and 2 years ago, somewhere in there, I ended up taking over the reins as one of the lead admins. I suppose the lead admin, but we have a diffuse leadership structure. I really don't like being the one in charge with so many social media accounts going on at the same time. So I kind of hold it together, maybe. I don't know. It's gotten a bit smaller. I think partly people don't really do readathons the way they used to. It's something that was part of the earlier internet culture. A lot of the people participating are in my age range or older. So we had a lot more time, 10, 20 years ago, to be thinking, hey, we want to just sit around and read and be social about it on the internet. And now we have jobs and responsibilities, and readathon weekend we might also have to take care of other people, and we can't just set aside a whole 24 hours and just read, because that doesn't work anymore. And overnighters are hard now. When I started, an overnighter was just a piece of cake. It was fun. I did them all the time. I was a college student. Of course you do overnighters. Now, if I do an overnighter, I'm recovering for several days afterwards. So it's changed a bit. And I have noticed there aren't as many young people joining readathons, ours or any of the others, as there used to be. It used to be if you announced that a readathon was coming up, you'd have this flood of people wanting to join it. And most of the readathons that have been around a while stopped doing sign-ups a while ago because it was just a waste of time. We kept doing sign-ups anyway for a while, but we didn't need them. We used to have physical prizes. We gave up doing that because it was a pain, and it was a lot of work. And then once you start giving people physical things, people start getting mad at you if they don't like the things or if they didn't win. And since everybody's doing this just voluntarily, that just got old really fast. And that was before I started as an admin at all. We haven't had prizes in quite a few years now. So the sign-ups were really just busy work. We don't need to have people sign up. I don't think anybody actually looked at the documents that were generated by those sign-ups after they were generated, ever. So we just dropped that part. And, so there's things like that are going on that I don't know if we're going to still have much of a readathon culture in another few years. I feel like right now we're kind of the dinosaurs that are keeping it going after everyone else doesn't want to anymore. But there are people that really look forward to the readathons every year. We have 3. One in April, one in midsummer, usually end of July or August. I'm pushing for end of July just so it gives more space before the October one. And during those readathons, they're 24 hours. We've had a huge discussion about whether we want to change the format to make it so that it's easier on those of us that are getting old or that have other responsibilities. But one of the key features of the Dewey's Readathon is the 24-hour format. So I think we're keeping that for the foreseeable future. And we're not adding a new readathon yet officially. We might do an unofficial one midwinter, but it will be unofficial because getting enough admins to actually be able to devote enough time to run the full-on readathon, half of the admins are busy on any of the readathons that are already on the schedule. So anyway, I'll do more posts about the Dewey's Readathon coming up and about readathons in general. I enjoy them, but explaining why they're so cool is often rather challenging because, we talk about books all the time anyway, and we read all the time anyway, But if you don't actually have the kind of schedule where you can do a lot of reading every day, it gives you a chance to have a name on that day. I'm reserving this whole day as reading. I think that's really what is most important about it. And everybody's doing it at the same time. So when you take breaks, you go online, and everybody else is also doing the readathon the same time you are. So you can chat about what you've been reading, and it's a community thing. So I'm hoping that it'll still be around. It'll probably morph into things that involve social media I don't know how to handle, because that's how these things tend to go. We do have some younger admins, I think, now that may know more of the newer social media. So maybe eventually we'll just see a new set of admins that will take the readathon into the social media that everybody's gravitating towards. It may just go that direction. Facebook and Twitter and YouTube may just be the old generation of what social media looked like. Tumblr used to be the big thing, or one of the big things. I found Dewey's on Tumblr initially, and we still have a presence on Tumblr because I like using it. But I think we have maybe 3 or 4 participants that interact with those posts at all. It used to be that was one of the big ones. So it's definitely morphed already. The blog on WordPress doesn't do much anymore, and it's not just because we don't do anything on there. When we do, no one looks at it. So I always feel guilty about that we don't update it more. But every so often we post something on there, and it doesn't matter if we're getting into a regular posting schedule or not. People just are not doing blogs anymore. So I think that's one of the things that has changed. People just, they don't do the blog format when they're consuming internet as much. So we'll see how it goes. We'll probably talk more about the ideas around readathons on future bookish posts too. Because the more I do the admin end of readathons, the more I think about these things. So if you're going to join the Dewey's Readathon, let me know in the comments, and definitely let us know what your TBR is. Make a video or tell me in the comments what you're going to be reading. Are you doing the pre-readathon challenge for this week? There are other pre-readathon challenges going on, and I will probably do a whole video on what all is going on in the Dewey's Readathon. I'm wary about doing that because I don't want people to think I'm using it to try and get people to subscribe to my channel. But it is a nice format to tell everybody what's going on in Dewey's. So I'll do a video and just not be super annoying about trying to promote my channel at the same time, I guess. So yeah, I will talk to you guys soon, and happy reading, everybody.